Alright, so today we will be solving third problem of educational DP contest. And before we move on with this video, I would like you guys to subscribe to my channel and also hit that bell icon so that you guys get notification whenever I upload new videos. Now let's read the problem statement for today's problem. So there is one guy named as Taro and he's having summer vacation starting from tomorrow. And there are n days in his summer vacation and he can do a particular activity on a particular day, and there are three kinds of activity and there are some points of happiness associated with each activity. And the only catch is that Taro gets bored easily and he can't perform the same activity for 2 or more consecutive days. Now what we have to do here is that we have to calculate the maximum possible total points of happiness that Taro can gain. Now let's read the input format for this problem. So we have n, which represent the number of days, and each line after that represent a particular day and types of activity and points of happiness associated with that. So let's see the sample input here. So and here is 3, that means we have 3 days and we have different kinds of activity and points associated with that. Now for the sample input we are getting 210. Now let's see how we are getting that. So if Taro does activity in order C, B, C, he gains 210 points. The only thing I want you to understand here that if Taro does activity A on first day, on second day he can't do the same activity. So if he does activity A on first day, he has to either do B or C activity on second day. So if you understood that, let's move on to solving this problem. So you guys already know there are 3 kinds of activity and there is some points associated with doing each activity, and the constraint here is that same activity can't be performed for 2 or more consecutive days. Now this is the input where each line represents a particular day, and these are different kinds of activity. This is activity 1, this is activity 2, and this is activity 3. Okay, so on day 0 we'll initialize the DP as the value of day 0. Why? Because there is no previous day, so the maximum point which we can get by doing activity A is 10, and by the maximum point which we can get by doing activity B is 40, and so on. And let's see what DP of I represents. So DP of I here means that maximum cost we get by including that activity I. Now for day 1 we'll have a temporary array which will be equal to the number of activities, and this array will be used to store the intermediate results. I'll tell you the importance of this array later on. So let's try to solve this for day 1. So for day 1, if we choose the activity A, then we can't choose the activity A for the previous day. So what I mean to say here is if we choose activity 20, the second activity, the previous day activity will be for 40 or 70. So that's what I have written here, 20 plus DP of 1 and 20 plus DP of 2, and we hit the maximum of these activity because we have to maximize our answer. So this is the value, and this I have stored here in temporary array. So if we try to initialize that 90 to the same DP, what will happen is 90 will come here, and if you see in the second step we are using the value of DP0 again, which is 10. So if it's updated we will get the wrong answer. Now for activity B, we will have two options. Either we choose activity A or C for the previous day, that is DP of 0 and DP of 2, and maximum for activity B we are getting as 120. Similarly for activity 3, if 3 or C we can choose either activity A or activity B, which are DP of 0 and DP of 1, and here also we get the maximum as 120. Now our temporary array is 90, 120, 120. So once we have the value filled in the temporary array, we can initialize to the DP array. So DP array is same as temporary array now. Now let's see for day is equal to 2. Now we have solved for day is equal to 1. For day is equal to 2, what will happen? If we choose activity A, that is 30, we can have either choose activity B or C on previous day, and the previous day here is day 1. So that will be DP of 1 and DP of 2, that is 30 plus 120 and 30 plus 120, and the maximum is 140. Again we list all the value in the temporary array. Similarly for activity B, we can choose activity A and activity C. That's what I have done here. So 60 plus whatever is DP of 0 and DP of 2. DP of 0 and DP of 2. So the maximum of these are 180, and this is stored in temporary array as 120, 180 here. Now for the third activity or C activity, if we choose this activity, we can have either A or B as a previous day activity, that is D of 0 or D of 1. So that's what I have done here, and we are taking the maximum, and the maximum is 210. So now we have the value of temporary array, and we'll initialize to DP. Our DP will be updated to 140, 180 and 210. Now since we have to take the maximum of these, we'll take 210, because by doing this third activity at last we are getting 210. So this is our final answer, and now let's try to convert this into code. Okay, so I'll open a custom tab, and so this is the solution for problem 2, but now we are solving problem 3. So let's see the sample input. We have n, and then we have a particular day. So I'll take the n value. Now after n, we have to store this value in some array. So let's state the input here for each day, and this will be something like this. Now we have each days, but we need to store each days in some array, and that will be equal to days. Let me also zoom in for a bit so that you guys are able to see. So days will be equal to a. Now if we try to print this, we'll get different days. Okay, so let me just copy the sample input. So we are getting different days. So we have taken the correct input. Now what we have to do, we have to initialize all DP. So for initially, let's say it's 0, and DPs will range till the value of number of activity, which in this problem is 3. And now we'll install the value of day 0 in our DP. I'll tell you why. So this represents day 0 and whatever activities are represented by I. So what this will do, this will initialize the initial DP value as 10, 40, 70, and we have this value. Okay, now we'll have to loop over days from 1 to n, because for day 0 we already have initialized this value, this DP state, and let me just write it here and I'll try to explain you. Let's name it as some other variable. So our days are starting from 1 till n, and then we'll iterate over the current days. That will be done by this statement. Now what we have to be sure is that if we choose activity P A on current day, then on previous day same activity should not be there. We can choose B and C. So that can be taken care by if it's statement, that is if I is not equal to j. And now I have to fill the value, but we also need to have a temporary array. So I'll just have a temporary array as well. Now we'll fill DP of what? So if we are at day 1, then this represent I and this represent j. So this will be not DP, this will be M of I will be equal to maximum of whatever value I have at mi, which is 0 initially, and then we'll have dp of j. Why? Because these are j value, dp of j for previous day, plus we need to take the value of current day, which is current day, and this I. So that's what I have done here, dp of this j plus whatever the current value, that is 20 or 50 or 80, which is this I value. Now once we do this, what will have the value for each m, and then we can make it equal to dp. Okay, Now we have to print the maximum of DP, which is this is statement, and I think our solution should work. So let me just see. We take the value of n, then we store the values of days, and our initial DP has value with day 0. Now for current day m will be 0, and then we are going to I. We are iterating over I and j, and m of I, which is this m of I. So this is I, this is j. So m of I is equal to maximum of whatever is there in mi, comma dp of dj means previous value of dp, previous day value, plus current day what value we have, that is days current day I. And once this whole loop gets over, we'll initialize the value to dp of m, which is this thing, and then we'll print the maximum value. So I think this should work. Let's try to take the input. So this is the input 310, and let's see what output I am getting. Okay, yeah, so I am getting 210, and let's just copy the code and try to run it with all the test cases. Let's see the language is correct. So it's running, and I think it should be accepted. So the answer is accepted. That means our solution is correct. Yeah, so that's all from my side. If you like my video, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.